Incoming transmission from the future. Vancouver AI Community Meetup.
Sissi's an amazing, inspiring person who I've gotten to know through Ed Kennedy's AI salons that he hosts at his house. If you happen to strike up a conversation with Ed tonight and connect, I'm sure you'll get invited. I'm so excited about all the ideas you've been sharing with me and for you to be able to come tonight and take the stage and share with the rest of us.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. I'm very impressed how Chris just prompt up everybody with such a highlight, as if we can't not let him down, so we have to really perform, right? And otherwise I would really scoop up. So hi, everyone. What a great pleasure. I really find this community have so many talented people. So a little bit about myself. So I'm running a consulting practice called Exponential Studio, and my whole passion is really about building conscious exponential organizations. And why is that? So I spent about 16 years in corporate, and some experience I really enjoyed, and some I really didn't. And the majority of that career was Fortune 500, like IBM, Novartis, Siemens, and some brands you probably well know, and some international or multinational brand in Canada, which I helped scaled. And throughout my career, I find a lot of organizations are built, instead of unleashing human potential, more about suppressing human potential. So I heard some laughs, I think you can correlate. So we are really standing at extraordinary times. And there are two mega trends, and I'm sure all of you could relate. So the first one is the rising of exponential technology. And everybody today, speaking of artificial intelligence, obviously is the leading force. But it's not just AI. There's also nanotech, there's a quantum computing, there's advanced sensors. All of this technology standing alone itself is powerful enough, but it's really the emergence of all of them coming together. And we have entire human history. And in the emergence of the experience of this technology, and what a profound transformation opportunity is empowering individuals and society. And the second part I want to talk about is consciousness awakening for global Earth. What does that mean? Because this word is kind of like, buzzwords on the internet to everybody talk about consciousness. So during COVID, and we all experienced the lockdown, so we all have to confine in our apartment, right? Or some people have fancy houses, you have like a backyard. But we all have to ask the question, we're like, really? Really, is this it? Is this my life? I get just to, work from home. I don't even know what I'm gonna see my parents, what I'm gonna see my nephews. I think a lot of people, when we're away from that routine life, we got to really question, why am I here? Why am I doing what I do? Is this really life is all about? And I think COVID-19 actually have accelerated and human beings to asking us the big questions. And more people wanted to work for meanings. More and more people looking for purpose in their life. So what does that mean is if you look at those two mega trends coming together, and there are three areas fundamentally would change and it will impact everybody in this room and also, everybody on this planet. So what three areas? The first one is the future of living. I was born in a small village in the northern part of China, and we have no running water, nor portable toilet, and not really a lot of basic life amenities people consider here. But what we do have is community connection, and we help each other. And even when I have not enough food running on the table, we'll just go to neighbor's place. But right now, we're humans, we're living in apartments, boxes, and we've been living together in the building for 10 years. Do we even know our neighbors? When loneliness become a new pandemic, I think the future living will be rewrite. When everybody going online and getting more connected to social media, constantly on our phones, the fundamental needs of humans want to be loved, want to be connected, become more suppressing. So the trend in the future of the living is more connected community living instead of isolated in our apartments. And the second part is future of work. And actually, this is the part I'm most passionate about because I spend so much time and working in organizations, skilling organizations. Majority of that work is about leadership. It's about organization transformation, culture, out of the soft and some people say fluffy, but quite essential. So the future for work is right now, you consider a lot of people's career in the past, when you're working inside an organization, you would just keep climbing, growing, right? And one day potentially could retire. That's our parents' generation. But for our generation, and statistically, now people change their jobs almost every 2 years. And last time when I was here, and I remember there were a few youngsters sitting in the front row asking, what are we gonna do when we graduate? We kind of predict next 3 to 5 years what work look like. What job should I pick that give me absolute security? And it's really interesting, right, asking this question because we wanted to predict and anticipate and what make us safe. I think the future for work really depends on future of organization and how we dance with that. And the future for work is no longer linear. We don't have this trajectory, succession planning, so we can link you into a chart to say, in 3 years, I'll be a manager. Finally, I can afford a 2-bedroom apartment in the west side of Vancouver.
East side.
Okay, there you go, must be richer. And then the third is the future of play. When I say future play, it's interesting because when I think about future of work and future of living, it's about elevating our game. But when I think about future of play, it's actually let's play. Because when we're kids, we play all the time, don't we? Thank you. I didn't pay for that person, by the way, but I appreciate you. But when we're growing up, we kind of forget how to play, right? And we kind of lost that innocence and that passion for really having fun in life. But there's a lot of research and scientists here, and we know a lot of great inventions is coming through joy of creation. So how can we bring play into our life? Because human beings were not isolated. Our life is around the future of work, future of living, and future of play. So that being said, and then coming back to how can we create an organization that is conscious and exponential, and this is the word the passion is, conscious, because we know a lot of conscious organizations have a great purpose. They want to change the world, they want to make a profound transformation in human beings, but sometimes they're also nonprofit. They don't necessarily go grand scale to want to reach the impact. You also heard organizations are exponential. They want to grow at almost no cost. They wanted to grab as much as profit as possible. But what if we could bring them together? What if an organization can be so purpose-driven, so heart-centered, and also can grow at exponential scale, not just in revenue, also impact, also contribution to the community, to the country, to the entire global economy. And that's what that takes. Looking at a conscious standing alone, and this is really a part that we have to, as human beings, when we ask all these big questions, remember, the conscious awakening is, have you asked yourself that why you do what you do? And why you're passionate what you're passionate about? And how can you align your deepest desire, your talent, your gift to what you want to do for the world? And as an organization, when I talk about exponential, there are a few key attributes and key characters. So the first one is compared with the linear organization. We have a lot of them right now, and it's really engineered for predictability, for efficiency, and for command and control, because we want to making sure we know exactly how can we report back to our shareholders. But our world is changing so fast. Those 3-year strategic plans and 5-year succession planning may not be suitable for the next 2 to 3 years. We don't even know when AGI is going to hate us, right? And so from the command and the control, which is original design of the organization as a hierarchy, pyramid-based, to a more fluid, more dynamic, more network-based organization. And the second part is, how can an organization from revenue-driven, profit-driven, and we want to harness everything squeezing out of employee to actually to a place and using AI to amplify human potential. When I say amplify human potential, there's 2 things to look at this. A lot of people in organizations, when I do consulting, they say, oh, what if our people resist? What if they're worried AI could replace them? And this is, legit question. So a lot of us have worked or still working inside an organization. they are part of the job you don't necessarily enjoy. If I'm right, please raise your hand. So I say you do agree. It's like there's something you like, you know what, there's 20 to 30% of work, I hate it. I just wish someone could take that away from me. Does that resonate? Okay, good. I think all of us could resonate with this. So that's what AI coming in. So the AI coming in to taking that 20 to 30% of the job away from you. And from in the past, you have 100%, 30 to 20% on the mundane task. Now when AI took that away, you have an elevated capacity. What else do you want to do with that? So, and the last part for the organization is really about how can we avoid isolation? When an organization grow, a lot of company anticipate adding more headcount, adding more bodies, and adding more leadership layers, adding more benefits, more perks, more vacations. So traditionally, organization wanted to grow, there's actually statistics to say if you want to reach 30 annual revenue, and you probably need 250 people. But now, more and more, I've seen that organization can scale lean, agile. What if we can build $1 billion business just under 10 people? And I have been working on building my startup 2 years ago, and I have about 12 volunteers, bootstrapping. And back then, I want to build a database, I want to build UI, I want to build a website, I want to build a community. We tried it for 3 months and asking for a grant for 300K. And just a few months ago, I've discovered that actually I can use Cursor and Vercel, and I'm working with my co-founder, Cian, for almost nothing. So what does that mean in the future when we're building an organization that doesn't necessarily need to add headcount? What if humans no longer in a capacity unit? What if we are optimized to amplify our potential? We're more empowered to do whatever we want to do. So in the end, let me maybe touch on this note. One thing I see is when organization at this stage trying to scale, there's so many AI tools out there, I couldn't even keep up with it. And I don't know if anybody can stay on top of the AI trends and news. You always know what's the best to use, what's the best to deploy in an organization. But one thing I do know this is we can't scale or transform an organization in isolation. There's one gentleman asked Chris a question just now. It's about how can we do things together, right? How can we bring different shareholders, stakeholders together? So what I find is when organizations try to scale, they often reaching out to different consultant. Operation ask an operation consultant. AI get an AI consultant. And there's HR, I get consultant too. And then you have a 10 department, you have a 10 different consultant, they all talk different things, and you're creating more silo. And it's time really for us to come in together. For example, this community, we have a different talent, different focuses, and different offerings. How can we come in together to fundamentally change the landscape of business? How can we come in together to build an organization that is so conscious, so purpose-driven, that it can make a profound difference for the world, that is exponential, it's making impact, that we do not need to creating things in isolation. That's not what we built for. Humans, fundamentally, we wanted to connect. Everybody here tonight, we wanted to connect, right? And we want to talk to each other, want to hug each other, we want a physical touch, right? In a good way. And fundamentally, we wanted to make a difference. Each of us here, we all have a hair cause. I remember I was watching that movie Gorilla. I don't know if everybody saw that Japanese, Godzilla. The Japanese government hired a group of volunteers to kill the monster. And then, and the government's, so sad, those people is gonna die, that's too bad. And the general said, no, they will die with honor because now they will die with meaning. So let's not do that. Let's actually live, but with meaning. And we can come in together. I promise, Chris, that would just end it in 8 minutes. Hopefully it didn't go over. Is that okay?
Sure, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Sissi. How cool is it? Management consultant of the highest order, international, come here and is trying to understand how AI is impacting our organizations and our lives and our futures. I love talking to you about this stuff. Is there any questions? Someone got a burning question they want to hit Sissi with before we kind of move on? We got a minute here, yeah? Daria.
Now I'm saying the light, okay?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Aloha. It's wonderful to be here. What an incredible community. So how are you planning to, first of all, I love seeing women up in this community. I love that. I'm diving into AI as well. And you're so passionate about this. How are you planning on merging the world of AI and conscious leadership in organizations? I'd love to talk to you after as well, but how are we going to do that together?
Thank you. Wow, that's a very big question. I think we're already doing it. I think just by you showing up in this room and you already taking an active step in conscious leadership. In fact, you asking those questions also showing interest in AI-led organizations. The change doesn't happen in the flip. The change happens as a collective effort. So awareness, it happens in our daily interactions. Just think about how OpenAI first released ChatGPT. I think within 10 days, they have like 10 million users. Is that correct? Something like that, right? That just shows you when something happens, it's at exponential speed. And when I talk about consciousness is, I think fundamentally, the question about, what job should I do? How can I get security? A really big question is really inside, and nobody can answer that for you. It's you finding the answer for yourself, of why you're here, what do you want to do, and what difference do you want it to make? One action, one choice at a time. Yeah.
Anyone else have a burning question they need to get off? Yeah, here we go.
Sissi, I love you.
I love you, brother.
One of the challenges that I see as we move into this AI world, and you talked about consciousness and connection, when we're talking about building a $1 billion company with only 10 employees, I see how we can do it in community online, but how do we get that actual real experience, like you said, of like being in a room and giving hugs when we're reducing the numbers of the team that's creating whatever the output is?
Yeah, thank you for. So I have this bold idea, okay? So right now, our world is constructed by where you work, and then you kind of live not too far from your work in that city, right? So that's current kind of setup. Imagine that in the future, that you're not live close to your work. You live where you wanted to work, but it's a community focus.
You live close to your people.
Yes, you live close to your people. So you could work in El Salvador, but you have a local community and the all digital nomads. But that's exactly the point of conjunction of future of work and a future of living. Because in the past, they all isolate. And now you can merge in those two areas together. So you no longer just design on which company it belongs to. Now you can engineer your life in where you wanted to live with your family. So you can literally hit two birds with one stone. Yeah.
Thank you, Sissi. My summary is like, turns out you don't need to get all your meaning from work.